This is Reflective Video Practitioner video number 2 for week 4, cultural norms. So looking over these questions in Introduction to Principalship, I came across some common threads that were really eye-opening, just based on the connection between all these questions, which cover such a broad scope of the way educators in the school community value students and our results, and then just how the approach and perspectives influence those things. And the one question that really stuck out at me was, to what degree do teachers accept responsibility, and to what degree do teachers accept responsibility for educating all their students to high academic standards? And I think that question is so perfectly framed and articulated because each word in there is important and crucial to its understanding. Specifically, the words accept responsibility and all students and high standards. And I realized that one of the core deficits of our school is, I think, that value or that perspective is not internalized by all teachers. Yes, on paper, yes, verbally, we might express that. Each individual educator might say at my school that, yes, we're here to educate all children. We want to maintain high expectations, high standards, and high achievement. But when it comes to the actual practice, for lack of a better term, when the chips are down and they're faced with tough situations, students who are failing, parents upset at low test scores, their evaluations being affected because of the low achievement or negative outcomes for students. I've heard several teachers chalk it up to things like, well, look at these kids. You know how this community is. You know how difficult it is with these special education students or these kids who come from traumatic backgrounds. There's just a lot of excuses thrown around. There's a lot of qualifiers placed on the students for why they can't achieve, why they're not successful, how it's not the teacher's responsibility to do this, it's not the teacher's responsibility to do that, my job's only to teach. You get where I'm heading at. And frankly, in my years of experience, those excuses have not changed. And what I've come to understand is all those excuses are just that, excuses. They're wrong. It is ultimately the teacher's job, regardless of the student. All means all. Education is compulsory in public schools. And at the end of the day, we're the paid, trained professionals. We have to come up with a solution. And I think for whatever reason, there's so many factors that, not just at my school, but statewide, nationally, play a role in this. Teachers feel helpless, powerless, untrained, unsupported. And those sentiments trickle down to the way they view students and the way they view their responsibility to students. These 9 questions were very powerful in helping me come to that realization. Because again, I've heard it said in isolation. I've heard it said in evaluation meetings and, one-to-one conferences, informal personal conversations, but it is a common thread. And I think we have to look to the adults because it is our charge. It's our job as a steward of education that we have to find the way. We have to be the ones who develop new strategies, who implement new supports, who try out innovative techniques to see how we can help the student, because kids are always going to have issues. Kids are always going to have struggles. It doesn't matter what community, doesn't matter the socioeconomic status of the community, doesn't matter the income level. There are always going to be issues. Of course, there'll be variance and oftentimes huge variance, but there'll always be teachers and there'll always be students, and all has to mean all. You cannot just chalk it up and compartmentalize a student's capability with all these other qualifiers.